out there?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
oh, hey.
Hi.
Who are you?
I'm JizzyJ.
And I'm ShortRound.
Oh,
Who are you?
wait.
Wait, he's
JizzyJ.
ShortRound.
You're JizzyJ, and he's ShortRound.
Hello?
I mean, if my calculation's correct,
Hi.
I think that means I'm the Gweeb.
It has to be.
Hey, Gweeb.
Hey.
I'm
So,
JizzyJ. This is the Gweeb.
And I'm ShortRound.
This is the JizzyJ and the Gweeb in the morning and evenings. Welcome, everybody. Tuning in at 11:57 here.
on the dot. And today we have
Evening
a
for all you West and East Coast. And today
we have a very, very special guest. We brought in ShortRound, who is the biggest and most knowledgeable expert on Grease.
Oh yes. Why don't you just give yourself an introduction here, ShortRound?
Hello, everyone. And I'm most only known for being the most greatest expert on Greece. Thanks for having me here, boys.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
Out of all the guests that we've had on the show, I've been excited for this one the most because, I've had Grease in my life. It's we all know we've been taught about Grease, in school, and we experience it throughout our days. And I'm just glad that we actually have somebody here who's been researching it. He's taken his whole life to research it, which is a sacrifice, I'd say.
It's my biggest passion, you know.
Very glad that
Anything that I can get my hands on, I'll go through with it. In Greece, that's my plate.
so. ShortRound.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. This fine morning. How about you? So, what would you guys like to know about Greece?
So,
Or should I just throw some random stuff out there for you guys? Blow your minds.
why don't we start with where did you get your formal training in Greece and
Formal
Greece
training?
related subjects?
Well, let's see. Got kicked out of the house at 18. I was born here in the U.S. Traveled to Greece, just because I had this passion for learning about Greece and their culture, their history. It just really fascinated me. So I went over there, and this couple took me in. They had like two other kids too. They're glad to have me over. They were really willing to help me learn more about their everyday lives and everything.
and
It's pretty awesome.
so they brought you into their home.
Yeah. I was pretty much a guest.
Did they like share any foods with you? Like good
Oh,
food?
they fed me good food, all right.
Sorry, I
Sorry.
just want to ask, would you describe their home as kind of like a greasy home?
Well, putting you could say it's greasy, but not in the literature way. More like a figuratively greasy place.
I can imagine. Yeah. And so this food, like we know that Greece, it's spread its influence into a lot of cultures, and it's everywhere, so you can get a lot of Greece, you know. And
Yeah.
did your food like how was it? Was any grease in it at all?
Well, I'd say um, there were some times where we eat lamb, but I wouldn't say it's greasy enough to where like you squeeze like a meat sandwich out and there's like a lot of oil that comes
Oh
out.
no
It's
no no!
not
I'm
that
talking about
greasy.
like the culture, about like is it any country?
You're saying the culture's greasy?
No, I'm saying like is the country
Your
culturally
coun-
significant?
It's amazing. I think the culture plays a big impact on everyday lives today. I like to start off with this first topic that the Romans copied the Greeks. I'll put it out there right now. It's gonna stick.
In what way?
I mean, if you look about it, back in whenever they were alive, architecture, they stole that. And basically, the Greeks didn't get a lot of attention, but the Romans did. That's why you always hear about it, like in the history books, mythology. It's always Romans. But
Yeah,
the
Okay.
Greeks didn't. The Greeks didn't like get the pen on paper. You know, someone copied them, and they came about first. But
Right.
The Greeks did it first.
Okay. So it seems like Greece did a lot of good things, but would you say that there's some bad parts of Greece as well?
Oh yeah, the shanty towns, man.
Yeah.
That's where the trouble goes down.
Mhm.
I mean, you got the hierarchy where you have the military and everything. Those guys are the rich, but then you have like the poor. You know, of course, there's gonna be poor everywhere,
Oh yeah.
and that's
Yes.
where the trouble went down. You know, always
well,
rebellions,
rebellion.
Wow. The
rebellions. Yeah,
Greece rebellion. That sounds kind of dangerous. So you would say
believe
that
it.
some Greece is very bad. Like
I mean, bad enough where if you were to step foot in it, you'd want to be really careful and maybe think about why you came in the first place.
oh
Now,
yeah, I wouldn't want to step in
You,
Greece at all.
yeah,
yeah.
that's
No, just in the bad parts.
not very
Well,
fun.
just in general, like personally, I wouldn't want to step in Greece.
Oh no. You want to step in Greece, all right? There's
Right. Like I think that as a society we need to sort of clean up Greece because in from my perspective Greece is like really harmful with the environment. If not handled correctly, Greece can clog the
wait.
entire system sort of like a drain,
Hmm.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but I'd like to hear your perspective on you know, the problems with Greece and how we can solve them.
Hmm.
Talk about the hierarchy.
The hierarchy of Greece.
Yeah, I've heard your talk, your lectures. I saw your TED talk.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
really good. I was, I crossed my feet.
Were you there? Oh, sweet. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. I mean, are you saying today Greece it needs to be fixed, or like back then Greece needs to be fixed?
Um,
I'd say today it wasn't really a problem. Back then people didn't really mind it. It's more of like it kind of just crept into our society.
Yeah, I think as science has evolved, we've learned a lot about Greece itself and kind of the benefits, but also the pitfalls and the bad parts of Greece.
What would you say is a good part of Greece?
I
And I
think
could elaborate more on.
one of the best parts of Greece is the food. It tastes really good.
Yeah,
That's probably the best part of Greece.
like
But but
greasy hamburger maybe.
oh yeah, a Greece hamburger. Yeah.
What would be in a grease hamburger?
Well, you got the lamb, right? And you got the lamb goat milk made into cheese.
Goat milk
Yeah, goat milk
on the burger?
cheese.
Oh, there's this.
Just imagine like Swiss cheese, but a little bit more potent.
No, I've never had goat milk. So.
Goat milk cheese, not goat milk, just goat milk cheese.
Oh yeah, you goat milk cheese. I haven't had either. I've had
Yeah,
a goat.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a goat.
yeah. I mean, all in all, grease definitely is a problem because it clogs up our drains and everything. People don't know how to like handle it correctly, so
Mm-hmm.
that's a big problem we need to bring up towards authorities, the hierarchy.
Right.
But the hierarchy really doesn't listen to us.
Now,
So
your reports. I've seen your live reports also. So I know you go out and I know you're talking about these protests and they can get dangerous at times. Have you ever seen any grease fires?
oh
Ooh, all the time. Well, not in my life personally, but I've been to lots of these conventions and everything, and hear about the victims talk about her house is burned down just because they didn't know how to handle grease. So, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who don't know the issues, the harmful aspects of it. But in a way, grease is good too. It flavors a lot of things in your life.
So would you say that the problem isn't with grease itself, but rather sort of what we do with grease?
Yeah, it's the handling of grease, if anything.
Okay, so say you were say you were president and you had the authority, any anything in your jurisdiction. What would you do with this?
Like if it was like something needed to be disposed.
I mean, it's up to you. It's part of your conscience. What would you out of the facts of life and the procedures? How would you go about getting what you want out of Greece?
Hmm. If I was president, maybe I'd try to implement like a study module in like the K through 12 to educate people about grease. So like when it comes push to shove and they have grease in their hands, they know what to do with it and they'll be safe.
And what would they do with it?
What they do with it? Well, they could recreate some of the greatest fine foods in Greece.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you bring up. So I just want to, during my own research about Greece, I found that actually about 90% of the world's problems are caused by Greece. So I think personally that without Greece, our world would be very, very much better. Just I think it's very unfortunate that so many people love Greece and they refuse to live without it. Some people just live in Greece, you know.
Oh
They're just
yeah,
absolutely filthy people, in my opinion.
I've lived in Greece for a bit, and I'll tell you, it was a wild.
Well, I mean, I was there for like 20 years of my life. And I think there's a lot of misconception about Greece. Um, there's a lot of hate coming towards us,
What are some
and
of
like,
these misconceptions?
you know, well, we were on the bandwagon, right? Train back in the old days, and it carried to here too.
Yeah, the cargo
Like,
train, and with like the open doors, we would like
yeah, yeah.
we would like jump out at our stops and
If
sometimes.
anything, we could say Greece is uh like a show to the world. The world wants to be us, right? Like back in the old day, 1/3 of our population was slaves.
Oh yeah, that was a dark period.
That's a dark period right there.
Yep, very, very unfortunate time.
We could say now where there's a lot of freedom around the world. Of course, there's still human trafficking and everything, but if you think about it, Greece, Greece has settled down. All these misconceptions. You have to go there to the now and check it out.
Okay, yeah,
You just can't believe what the news source just tells you. You gotta explain for yourself.
yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I guess my problem is that I once had an uncle who loved Greece. He just loved it so much that he said he wanted to take a vacation there, and just unfortunately, he never came home. And so I guess that's my why where my beef with Greece comes in.
Well, have you ever thought he met a nice girl out there and decided to stay,
I just think
and that he like loved her so much he wouldn't want to come back
yeah,
to
I,
wherever he was before him?
I guess it's a possibility, but I always just thought that he went to he loved Greece so much it just became an unhealthy lifestyle and it just ultimately led to his demise. But
I
I'll
mean, what
never know for
demise
sure.
have you heard of? I mean, he could have lived a long, happy life.
Yeah, he could have. It's just like
There's just no record information from Greece's part on this uncle you're talking about. You've done a research. He's been off the grid for some while now, so
yeah, just
you might be right. You
he's
might be right, but
mhm.
just throwing out some options out there for his demise. his fate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. It's been really hard on me without my uncle. You know, I actually really loved Greece before he told me lots of stories about Greece. He introduced me to Greece, and I was really in love with Greece almost as much as him. And he didn't invite me on this vacation, and I'm a little salty about that. And
Yeah.
but ultimately,
Yeah.
it really hit close to home, and it broke my heart when he kind of lived in Greece, and then he just never came home and never, let me know if he was okay or anything going on in his life after Greece took over him.
You know, it could be one of those unfortunate chances that he just got into deep shit, you know? If anything,
Greece.
there's like, wherever that you look, like, people are looking for power, and if you don't like the power statement that people try to put on you, you might rebel. And he could have been one of those rebellions.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Yeah, I think yeah, my personal theory on what happened to my uncle is that he just got involved with too much grease, and you know it increased like the he had heart disease beforehand because of his love for grease, and it just, I think he might have ended up having a stroke, or you know high blood pressure or cholesterol, or something related to grease.
Okay, I mean, if we look at that, the high blood, cholesterol levels, and everything like that, we have to learn back to my earlier statement where we need to educate people on how to handle grease and how much maybe you could intake of the grease and its culture.
Mhm.
Now, how much grease could you intake?
It depends, you know. I mean, depends on what you want from it. If you want to learn more about it and experience it, maybe you just go indulge in it.
I think that the safest bet for society to move forward is just to eliminate grease entirely from the planet.
Okay, so here's another one of my ideas. We could come up with synthetic grease. We'll
Oh,
still have all the good properties of
Synthetic.
grease, and we just label it synthetic and organic, and then
oh,
it'll help
So
the humanity
you're
around
saying
us.
we take out the grease and then in place of it we put a whole new sovereignty nation.
yes, I think that would
So
be the best option.
that means we would have to invade a country who are peacefully within themselves and, treating Greece as it should be. I don't think we need to interrupt that just to implement new rules about Greece.
Well, I think we would have to take it further than just invading a single country. Like Greece is all over the world. There's
Yeah, we
greasy
have to.
people in every single country of this world, and I think we just need to get rid of every single one. Just all the grease needs to be gone. We need to,
You
as
said it spread too far and it's like gotten out of control. We need to
yeah,
So
put a foot down and stop it.
we just need to get rid of all anything relating to grease, and I think everyone will be much happier and healthier in the world.
I had an idea, and it's actually not my idea. I actually read it in my grandfather's book. He had a section, and it was actually I found it because it was the greasiest section of my book. I found it, and it had techniques for use of if ever grease became a problem. And he said in one of the sections, he said we can use the grease as a weapon against grease,
Mm.
and that's not
If
some
you-
that's something I didn't really think about. I was thought about it. So my grandfather was, so I want to hear from a professional.
Okay, so we're saying Greece could be used as a weapon, right?
Yeah, on grease.
But we can't really blame that on Greece, right? Because in Europe in the late 1400s, or like when medieval times were around, they would use oil, hot oil, and pour it on people trying to invade their castles. Greece is like part of oil. You know, oil is a part of it. It constitutes most of its grease.
Yeah,
Because
and
grease
you can use
carries
oil for
flavor,
boiling,
but oil doesn't carry flavor.
and you can boil anything in oil, and you can also get boiled.
Yeah. So you could say Europe and the medieval times could be to blame for these greasy problems and greasy people.
So you're saying
Not Greece itself, you know.
yeah, and you're saying the oil doesn't really carry any flavor.
Yeah, I mean there's regular oil, coconut oil. The coconut oil has flavor, of course, because that's coconut in front of oil. But oil does not have flavor itself.
I see where you're from.
Yeah,
Now, what would you say is the flavor of Greece?
of oil,
Of Greece.
Greece. Ooh,
The national flavor of Greece, or or even or even just like the most iconic flavor of Greece.
most iconic. Like
Like,
greasy red meat. If you could take like some red meat that's been cooked, squish that a little bit, and like you have the flavor of just the meat in the liquid. Put
mhm.
that with oil, mix it all up in a good proportion. You got some good grease.
So
And
people.
grease could be left over from like other foods that come out, like fries.
Okay, yeah. I think that's actually really interesting because doing my little bit of research for this, I was unable to find kind of like a lot of people talk about uh, different foods from Greece, and so it was interesting hearing that red meat is the most iconic food from Greece.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that.
So
Yeah.
I thought
so
it was
would you say that that's what?
shawarma.
Mm, yeah, that's what I believe too. But short round, would you say that red meat is kind of the traditional plate of Greece?
Say lamb. Yeah. Say lamb. It's like flatbread too. Some veggies. That would be a typical dinner.
Now, what is a typical day in Greece?
Typical day. Well, it depends what part of society you are. You could be a farmer. You
Say
could
you're at the
be a
bottom. And Greece. It's dripping down on you. You know, you're struggling.
You're soaked in grease. You're at the bottom of the grease pool. What does a daily life look like?
man. That life is knocking door to door, asking how to handle all this greasy and the greasy situations you get into, praying to
What are
find
some greasy
some little
situations?
light of hope from all this grease. What?
Oh, sorry for
Uh,
interrupting. But what
oh.
are some of these greasy situations that some common street folk get in?
Man, the common greasy people, they always be trying to take everything that you own, try to make them the greasiest of the grease. And if you run into those guys, you're pretty much at the bottom. They pretty much restart you.
They'll restart you.
They'll restart you.
What does that mean?
Wow.
It means it becomes you a new whole different person, and you have to tackle life in a different way. That's when you realize you've hit rock bottom. You need to get out of this greasy situation. Maybe it's time you need to do greasy stuff yourself.
Wow,
The people to the less suspected.
that is really interesting.
Hmm.
I didn't think that they would go through that amount. That have that much empathy in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So so what other say by midday, say you're going out to in the middle of the day, done with your morning tasks, and you see the sun up on top of you, and you're just strolling through the grease. What are you up to?
If you're thinking about a greasy situation, you might need some greasy contacts. So I mean, you try to scout around and find a familiar face, knowing more about.
So would so
So
would
you're looking for assistance throughout this greasy situation.
okay, so would you say there's kind of like a mob in Greece or like a mafia type
Oh yeah, for sure.
society
That's.
operating?
Hmm.
What are kind of what's the do you know a lot about the mafia in Greece or?
No, because, to know a lot about the mafia, you need to be in the mafia itself. You
Mm,
need to know the operations of it, how they do go about their greasy business, how they distribute grease.
right.
There's a lot of complications about these mafias. Like, you
Now,
can
I
never know
know.
when a greasy situation's going to come hit you.
Now, short round. I know. I'm sorry to do this. I know you told me before about your influence as a an inside agent. This said mafia, and I just want to let you know that this is a safe place that you can talk, and you won't be found or anything by any parts of that. This is a completely safe and open place to discuss. So why don't you go ahead and tell the truth about your experience infiltrating this Grease mafia?
I can't do that, right? They're probably
Sorry,
listening
you're
as
gonna
we
have to
speak.
because this podcast is the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, this
Again,
podcast is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And
Oh, man.
we're actually very safe here. You know, we take a lot of precautions to make sure that all of our guests are safe
promise
before
you.
and after the podcast. So you really don't have to worry about the mafia in Greece coming after you after this. We'll keep you protected. We'll keep you safe.
Alright, alright. I believe, I trust, I trust. I'll spill the beans. Problem is, guys, you don't know what's about to hit you about this mafia grease. They run the world.
I knew it.
That's what I expected. Yeah, right.
They have all the operations on how to move grease, make greasy stuff, implement grease into people, and that's how it's like a hazard across the whole world.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that
How it's
sounds very
unhealthy.
dangerous.
They do it for profits only. They don't care. They say it's
So,
business, not anything personal.
so you said that they can. Telling me that they're having Grease experiments on human subjects,
hmm
and you've seen these experiments in labs.
I've seen a couple, but heard of many more happening.
Walk us through this horrific.
Oh man, they'd say volunteers, right? But I'd assume that they were taken from the streets and like taken into custody with no one knowing where they're at, right? And they just feed them grease, like greasy thoughts, greasy foods, and make them into a greasy person.
What are some of these
Wow.
greasy that that one
What?
would be? What are some of these greasy thoughts that one would be subjected if we were in the lab, put on the table?
Mm, you know, greasy thoughts could be anything about grease. So I mean, it could be just unsafely handling grease, injecting grease, throwing grease, starting grease fires. Any of these thoughts can come from
Wow.
greasy thoughts.
I knew that Greece was kind of like a shady and a bad place. They had a history of this, but I never knew that Greece was this evil. You know, I didn't know they were capable of doing something like this.
I mean, this is just the mafia we're talking about. I mean, there's
Well, right, but you mentioned that the mafia in Greece kind of runs the world, so they must have their greasy little fingers in the
everything.
governments. Yeah.
They are the
Yeah.
power.
But how do you think they got there? They had to get connections. AKA people are willing to do the dirty stuff for them too. They're just the operations. There's
Mm.
got people distribution, handling,
They got
the
leather.
muscle.
They got
Yeah,
people cleaning up all their dirty work all over Greece,
It's going down.
exactly.
just wiping up Greece.
So if you think about it, the world is the mafia because they're helping out as well. So
So,
it's a chain.
would you say that the world is technically full of Greece?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
A little proportion of it, but it's gonna grow bigger one day. I can foresee it happening.
See, so do you understand where I was coming from earlier then where, I was saying that Greece is kind of infiltrating our world and we need to just eliminate Greece entirely because it's very dangerous and it's just going to keep spreading the more we allow it to.
Hmm. And what do you propose? Because at this point, I think it's just beyond the fact that there's no point in return.
Right. Yeah. I'm not an expert. That's we kind of brought you here to just discuss your thoughts on whether you think that Greece, the positives of Greece, because obviously a lot of good things, and Greece has some positive influences throughout history and on people's personal lives. But would you say that the positives of Greece or the negatives of Greece outweigh? Like, which one is more prevalent in Greece today?
I mean, me personally, I'd say positive. Because, I mean, we have this Greece problem, right? But there's a whole lot of other problems that can overrule as well. You know, I don't think Greece is this main issue everyone need to focus about. It's something like you could put on the side and do like a little side task for it.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from.
But yeah, Greece is nice. The people are nice if you're not part of the Greece. But
So,
it's
sorry.
the landscape's pretty nice. That's important.
So, just to change the topic here. Now, I know we forgot to mention, but you are a professional phlebotomist, and I was just wondering, in your professional experience, have you ever attempted to inject grease into your own bloodstream?
Do I have to answer that?
Yeah.
We don't, we don't pressure our guests to answer any questions that make you feel uncomfortable or unsafe or, anything of the sort. But we would appreciate an answer. But you don't have to.
It's hard. It's hard, but I feel like you guys are willing to help me talk through this situation.
No, I know
But
this. Yeah, I understand it.
it's a bit hard.
It's a hard
It hits
subject to
home.
talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just know that you have thousands of people just tuning in, and they don't know, the experiences that you've gone through. And this is sort of what our show is. We want people's something, just knowledge of something that they would never ever think about trying, which is what you like to discuss with us, right?
Yeah, like Jared said, there's thousands, if not millions, of people who listen to our show on a weekly basis, and we just think, if it makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to answer, but we think that it would be really important for some of these listeners to hear your experiences and hear what you've gone through to kind of understand what they need to do about if they get into a similar situation with injecting grease or if they become addicted to grease in any type of way.
I mean, the hard problem that I'm talking about is the initiation into the mafia. They injected grease into me, and it was forcefully put upon me. And they're like, "Oh, you're part of the grease gang now."
So, they took you by force,
They did.
and what could you? I'm sorry to
And now I
put you
got a
through this
problem.
experience again. I'm sorry if this is bringing you flashbacks. To explain what they exactly did to you when they got a hold of you.
They tied a tube around my arm. Got like the fattest syringe, one that you would not want to get injected, but you got injected with anyways. And nice warm grease gets injected into your blood veins. Feels nice.
Felt nice.
Not nice in a way that I was forcibly doing it, but the side effects of it.
So
It's
you're
not bad.
saying like you didn't enjoy being forced into your bloodstream, but it felt good about what happened.
Well, okay. Yeah, I got quite a problem using grease now, but
I know. I'm sorry to keep. To, if this is bringing up any, I hope you don't have any around you. You
yeah,
understand?
it's all right. I feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's one of the greatest pitfalls of grease is that it's really easy to get into, or even if it's just forced upon you, it's kind of a unending cycle. If you once you're in grease, you can't leave grease, and I think
that's why I'm an expert on grease
I
because
think.
I've been there, done that.
I think that's kind of what happened to my uncle. Is you know, he fell in love with the grease. He went in grease, and he just never left the grease. And
Yeah,
But
Honestly,
I'm glad you're still here. We support you through your journey of Greece, and
thank you. And
we
I'm not done with it
Don't
either. I'm gonna keep going.
just don't just be moderate. Be careful.
yeah
Be sane.
don't overdo the Greece.
You can do in moderate amounts, but just you can't overdo the amount of
The thing
grease
with
intake.
grease is the more you take, the less you know that you're taking. So say you take some grease and take some more grease. If you take less grease and it feels like you're not taking grease at all, but then you're about to take more grease. And I've been through it. Trust me.
Ooh, yeah. You've been there and done that too?
Oh yeah, see, I didn't have the courage to speak about it till now and bring it up. Where I was
Also
just
glad you were able to bring it up.
pushing it down, but yes, I have been on and off for about 30 years.
It's very hard. They say around like 72% people are in love with Greece.
Yeah, Greece just has a very far reach into people's lives, and once you're involved with Greece, I think it's hard to become uninvolved.
Yeah. The statistics show that, 72% loved Greece at one point in their lifetimes, but there's like 35% people that are just, still rocking it today.
Yeah,
It's heavy,
my
It
uncle was married in Greece.
that's a greasy way to go.
It was lovely. I went to his wedding.
Nice.
Yeah. So we do apologize for kind of just bringing up your Greece history um in that subject, but is there any other facts about Greece, or that you would like to discuss with us today?
Hmm. Let's
Now it
see.
sounds like you're unwrapping your grease bag, and I just wanted to let you know you can set your mind to anything you want to if you just put down the grease.
To anyone listening to this podcast, it might be hard to say no, but you can. And even if you say no, just remember you could have it every once in a while, just not overdoing it.
From the
A
words
little
of an
bit's good.
addict, short round. I am
Yeah.
glad that you're here today to discuss politics, the economics, geography, and echolocation of Greece, the facts about it, and the wonders and the reach of the mafia.
Thank you for having me. It was nice to openly talk about how Greece influenced me, how I became an expert, how I try to like influence other people about Greasy and how you should handle Greece and the Greasy city. I hope a lot of people learned about this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people listening to this episode have learned a lot. You've provided a lot of factual information, and that information uploaded straight to their brains right away watching this. And I think it could help them with their experience in any possible future situations they get themselves into, whether they're visiting Greece or, they meet a greasy person. But before we let you go, there's just one last thing that I'd like to mention.
Yeah, go for it.